Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. This is Monday Boring Objects, or Monday's Boring Objects, or Boring Objects on Monday, something like that. It's Let Me Bore You to Sleep. I wonder what episode this is. I wonder. Let's have a look. It's it's Bank Holiday Monday, so it's the day after Easter. The 21st of April 2025. Ooh, so this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep, number 1334. Curious. Yesterday, I don't really watch a huge amount of telly, but I do when it comes to like bank holidays, maybe a Sunday as well. You know, I like to have a little look, just a little look to see what's on, because I do enjoy a nice a carry-on movie, or maybe a sitcom from the 70s or early 80s. Just it's something a bit nostalgic, quite like sometimes. I knew there'd be some Jesus movies, and there was one, what was it called? I forget, the Magical Cloak or something like that. And it was about a Roman who, it was basically based on the Roman rather than on Jesus. But it's an Easter movie. Was like a Christian Easter movie. And I thought, well, I'm not really too fussed about watching anything like that, because I've seen them. I've seen all of those movies all the way through my childhood, and multiple times. I mean, they were epic movies at the time. They were really loads of huge stars, and so really big movies, a bit like Ben-Hur and Spartacus and things like that. Massive movies. Anyway, I was looking for a carry-on movie, really, to be honest. And I came across, there was two. One was what did I come over? I'm trying to think. There was a reason for me saying this. I've just woken up literally about 5 minutes ago. Had the strangest dreams. I was having the most sensible conversation with my brother. Like really having a sensible conversation about real stuff with him. In my dream, this is. Very strange dream. And we were all living in this house. But it was nowhere that I've been before. Or there is somewhere that I've been before, but only in my dreams. Yeah. It's one of those houses that I've lived in, but only in my dreams. Yeah, there's a few little places that I've lived in my dreams. which is weird considering how many different places I've actually lived in reality since I was born. A lot of places. I think I've moved about 50 times, if not more. Wow. What was the movie? That's going to bug me now. I know Carry On Loving was on, I think on either Friday or Saturday. I watched a bit of that, but I don't know if it was something else I wanted to watch. And then yesterday, it's just gone right out of my head. It's gone out of my head. What was it? What was it? It wasn't a Carry On movie. It was an old movie. Oh, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I was watching that. It's one of my favourite movies. I mean, I have so many questions though. It's just weird. I mean, why does the kid have an American accent? Why do they talk about dollars when it's I mean, technically it's based in London. It's just weird, the whole thing. I think it's based, maybe it wasn't based in London, but all the other characters are English, apart from one little girl who was American, I think, and Willy Wonka. No, Willy. Not Willy Wonka. Who's the kid? The kid in it, whoever it was, because Willy Wonka was Gene Hackman, wasn't it? Whatever his name is. So Gene. I know it wasn't Gene Hackman, but Gene something. Gene. Willie. Gene. Gene Wilder. I know some people going like, oh, when they talk about the best comedy actor, Gene Wilder never gets mentioned for some reason. His real name was Jerome Silberman. How did he come up with Gene Wilder? Oh, I have no idea. The thing is, I still think he's one of the funniest comedy actors I've ever seen. Just because of his facial expressions, his voice. He was just so funny. I don't know what it is. I mean, yeah, he was in some really big movies, some really funny movies, but I'm not saying I found him funnier than someone like Jim Carrey, but it wasn't. Jim Carrey's amazing comedy actor, but there's a degree of, the plasticity of his face is just, wow. Yeah, not many people can do what he does. We used to have someone that could do that in England. He was, I don't know if he's still around. His name is Phil Cool. So he was around a long time before the old, what's his name? Also, Lee Evans is really brilliant with his facial expressions. But Phil Cool he's 77 now. He was around in the early 80s. he would make faces like he was so good at making faces. To the point where he got his own TV show and everything. He was a stand-up. Born in Chorley, Lancashire, Phil Call discovered that he had a skill for pulling faces when he was 12 years old. I mean, he was really good. Anyway, Gene Wilder, there was this one movie where it's not even one of his, I don't think it's one of his famous movies. I don't think, because he did, obviously, the movies he did with Richard Pryor, they were all, I would class as famous movies. Anything he did, he did a lot. It was like Young Frankenstein or Frankenstein. He was in Blazing Saddles, wasn't he? In fact, Blazing Saddles. I'm going to talk about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's my boring object for today. I just realised I had no idea what it was going to be, but it turns out to be this. Here's something you might not know. Blazing Saddles, directed by Mel Brooks, which is a massive film from the past, 1974, and it was a huge hit. 2.6 million budget, it took 119.6 million at the box office in 1974. That's very successful. It was directed by Mel Brooks, and I do believe Gene Wilder was kind of Mel Brooks's, I don't know what the right word is. What do they call it? Not scribe. Do you know, in the same way that Johnny Depp is, what's his name, who did Edward Scissorhands and loads of other movies. He's done so many movies with Johnny Depp. It's like his, there's a word for it. My brain's not quite awake yet. But yeah, he's that, whatever that word is. But here's an interesting thing. Gene Wilder was one of the stars of the movie. And let's have a look. One of the Cleavon Little was kind of the star as well. So he played a black railroad worker who became a sheriff in Rock Ridge, and it's kind of about that, really. It's about him, and there's a lot of sort of stuff. There's a really funny farting scene when they're eating beans around a fire. So here's what's the weird bit about it. I mean, this should be for Trivia Tuesday, really, but the screenplay was by Mel Brooks, Norman Steinberg, Andrew Bergman, Alan Uger, and guess who else? Richard Pryor. And Richard Pryor wanted to be the star of it. I mean, you think he would do, wouldn't you, really, if he helped write the screenplay? Why wasn't he, though? It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, classed as a comedy classic. I might watch that today, actually. So why wasn't... I don't understand. I don't quite know why he wasn't wasn't the star. Anyway, Mel Brooks. Let's see how many movies Gene Wilder was in his movies. Let's find out. Is he still around? Yeah, blimey. What do you mean, is he still around? That's rude. No, he's 98 years old. It's not rude to ask if someone born in 1926 is still about. I mean, wow. That's amazing. He is. And good for him. He's 98. In fact, he's nearly 99. Brooks won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for The Producers. That is such an amazing concept, The Producers. It really is. It's one of those things that the concept just doesn't get old. It's great. I've seen The Producers. In fact, I saw blimey, I just remembered I saw The Producers live on stage. I got no idea who was playing the characters. I don't know. I don't remember. I've also seen it like different live versions on TV as well as movies, different like interpretations. It's just amazing. So let's have a look. So weird. He was born in 1926. It's a long time ago. And there's pictures of him that just don't look like him. Wait, that's probably because it isn't. It's Carl Reiner. Fair enough. Brooks collaborated with Gene Wilder on several films, including Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles, both 1974. Ooh. Okay. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to look at his movies. I want to see how many movies Mel Brooks did with Gene Wilder. Or it'd be easier just to go to Gene Wilder, really, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be easier. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder. Brooks, Gene Wilder. Let's go to Gene Wilder. Still one of my favourite ever comedy actors. I mean, I like a lot of comedy actors, especially from the kind of from the not the MTV Saturday Night Live crowd from the 70s, like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and what's his name that played Fletch, and he played I forget his name. It's so funny. It really used to make me laugh. Just his facial expression. Not Dan Aykroyd. What was his name that played Fletch? And he played the family that got together and it kept having really crazy things happen. Oh, that's strange. Bonnie and Clyde, the producers. So it's not saying who the... Oh, that's so annoying. So the producers, obviously, that would be Mel Brooks. Start the Revolution Without Me. Written by... quick star. So Willy Wonka and a Chocolate Factory. My beard is starting to touch the microphone. I do apologise. That's going to bug me now. How many Mel Brooks films had Gene in? Every Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder movie. Here we go. The producers. Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. Oh, who's 3? I'm sure there's more than 3, but this is the one that's being shown. Ooh, cool. So Willy Wonka and a Chocolate Factory. Oh, what is the movie that Gene Wilder did though? So Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the movie, 1971. That's what gets me, because some of the stuff in it was, in my opinion, way ahead of its time. You know, talking about greed and talking about people start switching off the TV and if you can hear that dog barking, bless. It's lovely. I love hearing the dogs barking in the background. It makes me just feel so fuzzy inside. Oh. Not 100% sure where it's coming from. I think it's over the fence somewhere. Didn't used to bark hardly at all, but it's been barking a lot more lately. Wherever it is, because it sounds the same, has the same kind of sound. Oh. So Gene Wilder, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, based on the movie. I did read the book. I mean, I saw the movie first because it came out when I was a baby. But I did read the book, and I also read the second one, which was the Glass Elevator. See, this is weird, okay? I was talking about this the other day. Movies that weren't popular, but then went on to be absolute legends. So the budget was 3 million, which was a lot of money, to be fair, I think, back in 1971. But there was a lot of special effects, and there was a lot of, I mean, look at the studio they must have built to have that all in there. It was pretty impressive, I would say. Box office 4 million. So they made $1 million. Still $1 million, isn't it? I don't know how much they spent. I'm guessing the budget includes everything, so $1 million would be profit before tax. So Mel Brooks would have made some money. Oh no, Mel Stewart. It wasn't Mel Brooks that did it. Mel Stewart, sorry. Apparently Ronald Dahl, or Roald Dahl, didn't like it. And the newer version of Johnny Depp, although it's newer, it's now, blimey, it's like 20 years old, which just, I can't get my head around that, is more, it's more true to the actual script than the Willy Wonka and a Chocolate Factory. So yeah, he didn't, I don't think Roald Dahl liked the way it was portrayed. I've read that he wasn't a big fan of Gene Wilder either, which I can't get my head around because I think he played that character so good. So good. Yeah, I did. But if you think about it, look, it was like 4 million. So it wasn't a huge. They didn't make a loss, and a million was still a million, you know, in 1971. So technically, it's not really. I don't think it's a failure, is it? But when you consider it next to the one I mentioned earlier, which was it Blazing Saddles? They spent 2 million and made 104. So yeah, or whatever, 140. But this is something that is played every year of my life. It's been on TV probably at least twice a year, like just on the major channels like ITV1. Well, I don't know, it might swap around, it might just only just be on one, but either BBC One, ITV, Channel 4, one of those ones. Maybe Channel 5. BBC 2 maybe, I don't know. So, considering it wasn't like a huge hit at the time, blimey, it stood the test of time. I think it still has, because the filming, the cut is so colourful. It's probably in 1971. I hope my beard hasn't been scraping the microphone too much, because I just realised that I can't feel it. I can't feel my beard scraping the mic. So if it has, all I can do is apologise. Please, please, please learn in time. And I realise it might take a few years, but learn, please, please. However long it takes, please find a way to forgive me. Willy Wonka, 1971. I imagine the special effects in 1971 and the colourfulness of that movie probably fitted in with, very similar to how The Wizard of Oz was in 1939, The Wizard of Oz? Wizard of Oz. 1939, it was. I was thinking 1939, but it really was 1939. Whew. See, that was a hit. 2.8 million budget, 29.7 million. I mean, 2.8 million budget. It was 1939. Huge. That must have been one of the most expensive movies at the time. It must have been. I know there was, I forget his name. Oh. So this is interesting. Box office 29 point. It was re-released, so it wasn't a success. While the film was sufficiently popular at the box office, it failed to make a profit until its 1949 re-release. So it earned 3 million on a 2.7 million budget. This is according to Wikipedia says this. I don't know how much of it's true. And then they re-released it in 1949, so that's just a few years before I was born. And it became... Did they really re-release it at the cinema? Mind you, you think about it, they released it in 1939. I'm sure something quite important happened in 1939, which would possibly stop people from going to the cinema. I can't think what it is. What is it? I think there was a big event, 1939, which meant people weren't really, wasn't good timing. But 1949 is probably a good time to re-release it, and it did. It become, well, it's a legendary movie, isn't it? And also the special effects, considering, Walt Disney wasn't involved, and it was pretty amazing for the time. I don't want to spoil the film for you, but it took years. I was probably, bearing in mind I watched it every single year. It was on at Christmas every year, possibly a few times when I was a kid. It became known as the Christmas movie, like every year. The Wizard of Oz. What other movies were always on at Christmas when I was a kid, when I was growing up? Like Jaws, James Bond movies, Spartacus, Ben-Hur. It was the same old movies every year. Because back then, like early 80s, it would take about 7 years for a movie to come onto TV that was at a cinema. About 7 years. It would take about a year, maybe, before it's available on video. Maybe less than a year, but it was quite a time difference from being on the cinema to being on video. Because videos are fairly new here, like in the early 80s, that was a new thing. I don't know about other countries. Well, it was new among the working class. I don't know, maybe they'd been around for people that could afford them. Because it might be one of those technologies that was really expensive, like computers used to be, until they made them available for the lower class people like myself. I'm trying to think what other movies used to be on regularly. Spartacus. The Best Story Ever Told or something. Moses, the Bible. There was these epic movies that would be on, and they lasted like 3 hours. Yeah, it's weird thing about it is, I'm not talking about Wizard of Oz. I'm talking about. I think I'm going to change from talking about Willy Wonka and a Chocolate Factory to just old movies. Maybe just old movies. No, I'm going to talk about Willy Wonka. With the Wizard of Oz, though, it wasn't till I was probably in my 30s, maybe 20s, but I was definitely an adult. Bearing in mind I'd seen it lots of times. You know that scene right at the end where she says, "And you were there, and you were there, and you were there." I didn't understand what that meant. I understood what the words meant, and the sentence structure in the syntax. I understood that, but it didn't click that the woodman and the scarecrow and the lion and the wizard and the witch were all people that were in the scene at the beginning of the movie. Didn't realise that. Generally didn't know. Didn't suss it out. I mean, really, the only one that was proper obvious would be the wizard, because he looked exactly the same. All the others had costumes on. Yeah. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. What is going on? What was this? W.C. Fields was originally chosen for the title role of the Wizard after Ed Wynn turned it down. Who's Ed Wynn? Ah, Ed Wynn, American actor and comedian. Best known for his perfect full comedy character. Oh, so he was very famous. They wanted him, but he was busy doing something else. Okay, so let's go back to Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka. Yeah, I'll get rid of that one. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Return to Cinder. So Gene Wilder. The only other person in the movie that I knew, well, I didn't know, but I kind of recognised, was Roy Kinnear, because he was in a lot of 70s sitcoms. One of the ones mainly that I remember him being in would be George and Mildred. He was like he was George's friend, and Mildred kept saying, "Get out, get out." So yeah, he was in that show for Return to Cinder. Wow, he did a lot of movies. I don't want to go back to he did a lot of, like, lots. Filmography. I wonder if they just put all the movies and the TV shows all in the same place. It might be that. Ripping Yarns. Yeah, I think they did. Escobar, Three Musketeers, because he did the Musketeers, was the Return of the Musketeers, because he fell off a horse. I think that was what caused him he was very badly injured doing that. As Planchet. So the Three Musketeers. Okay. The Three Musketeers as Planchet. The Three Musketeers. So he replayed exactly the same character as he did before. So he was in the Three Musketeers, and it was Oliver Reed, Raquel Welch, Richard Chamberlain, Michael York, Frank Finlay, Christopher Lee. So let's go back to the next one. Is any of those people in this movie as well? It did. Michael York and Oliver Reed. Wow. So several cast members from the first two reprise their roles in this one. While filming 1988, character actor Roy Kinnear died following an on-camera accident which he fell off a horse. Oh, I used to really like Roy Kinnear, but my favourite thing was when he was in the... Why is it not saying George and Mildred? Why is George and Mildred not up here? Because he was in that. I mean, it wasn't the star of it. Wasn't the star, but he was in it a fair bit. He was in Help, the movie, the Beatles movie. He was in so many, like a lot of stuff. A lot. The Pied Piper, The Three Musketeers, 1973. And then, was he in The Three Musketeers, the next one? Doesn't seem to show. But the thing is, just because he's not here doesn't mean he wasn't in it. Was it the Musketeers Ride Again? Something like that. Or am I thinking of Herbie? Three Musketeers. Oh. So I don't know why it's not on there. Why? Anyway, I liked him. That was pretty much. But I'm just thinking about, so it's going to bug me now. Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers. Roy Kinnear as Planchet. Oliver Reed as Athos. Michael York as D'Artagnan. Richard Chamberlain as Aramis. Wasn't Richard Chamberlain Aramis in... Because he left very recently, March 29th. He was 90. I used to like Richard Chamberlain because he was in two... in the 80s, the middle 80s. I say middle 80s, probably early 80s. He was in some epic shows. One was called Shogun, where he gets washed up. I think he's shipwrecked or something, and he gets washed up in Japan. And it went on for each episode was about 16 hours long. But it was so good. Let me just have a look. Also, so I'm going to cheat here, but I do remember. So television show, there was a love story he was in, Shogun, and I'm pretty sure there was something else, another one. But let's have a look. Television series is 1980. The Thornbirds. That's what I was trying to think. So Shogun, The Thornbirds, Dream West, and The Bourne Identity were all mini-series, according to this. Okay, I don't know why they included The Bourne Identity. I mean, it was in that, but 1988. He played Jason Bourne in 1988. That is interesting. That's very interesting. I can't imagine him playing Jason Bourne. So Shogun, because he was also in Dr. Kildare, and that was 61 to 66. I don't know who told me that he was in Dr. Kildare, and this would be during the Thornbirds Shogun. So I watched Shogun in 1980. Is it that long ago? And the Thornbirds were 1983. One was like a love story, and Shogun was, I think it's kind of a love story as well, but I loved them. Really loved them. But in about 1984, I started watching Dr. Kildare, which was on, as I said, 61 to 66. So it finished before I was even born. But that was a good TV show as well. I've got to look into this though, the Bourne Identity. Oh my goodness, it's got him holding a gun. It's got Jacqueline Smith there. 1988. The American mystery action thriller miniseries, adaptation of Robert Ludlum's 1980 novel The Bourne Identity. Wow. It was 2 episodes of 120-minute installments. Whoa. So it's just weird because this is 1988, okay? 1988. I'm not going to be ageist, I'm just going to just point out. He was born in 1934. So he was my age when he played Jason Bourne. And it's weird, it's just because in the movies I always think of Jason Bourne being, well, we're young. Like late 20s or whatever. Maybe early 30s. So it's strange, isn't it? It's just, I'd never heard of the Bourne Identity until Jason Bourne, Matt Damon was doing it. Mind you, he's 54 now. Wow. My age is coming out a lot at the moment, that's weird. When did he do Jason Bourne? The first Jason Bourne. I liked what was one of the first movies he did? The one with his ooh. Okay, this is Damon with his wife Luciano, 2009. Okay, didn't it used to be? Oh, I'm thinking of the other one. Yeah, what's his name? Is Bestie. Oh, I can't find it. It was the first movie I remember seeing him in, Good Will Hunting, 1997. Oh, he made his acting debut in Mystic Pizza, 1988. I didn't know he'd been around before. That's the first time I really kind of knew about him. It was weird because my boss at the time said, "You should watch that. It reminds me of you." I watched it. I said, "Oh, because he's a genius." He said, "No, because he's a loser." He's feral. He's out of control. Can't control what he says. I said, "Yeah, but he's also a genius." He said, "No, not that bit. That's not what I was talking about. It's the fact that he just could not control what he said. Always saying the wrong thing." I said, "Yeah, but a bit of the genius as well." He said, No. Okay, thanks. The other thing he said I reminded him of was Stig the Dump. Jacqueline Smith. She was in Charlie's Angels. So she was in the she's now 79. I used to love Jacqueline Smith. I did. Charlie's Angels. She was always my favourite. All the way through Charlie's Angels, through the whole thing. Right from when I was a little kid until it finished being on TV, which it did last quite a while because they got through quite a few different actors. But Cheryl Smith was the one that stayed in it all the way through. And I loved her. That's not the reason I loved her. I just loved her. I don't know why. I just did. So Charlie Chocolate in the Charlie Chocolate in the Factory. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka. See, the thing is, in this country, part of the reason I think it was so popular, okay, especially like later on, is as a kid I got to say the word Willy. So, you know, it's so good to be on my best behaviour Christmas Day because, you know, I got presents. Or the day before Christmas because hopefully I was going to get presents. Father Christmas was going to bring me presents. But then, at the same time, I wasn't allowed to say anything. I was trying to be good and not say anything rude or not say anything I get in trouble for. But I could say the word Willy. I couldn't say it any other time of the year. But I could say Willy out loud. And it was great. I remember my brother pulling me aside saying, but you need to say the rest of it as well. You need to say Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Or at least, you know, Willy Wonka. Can we watch Willy Wonka? If you just keep shouting out the word Willy, it's not the same. It doesn't work the same way. And you're still going to get in trouble. Okay. But we live, we learn, you know. I never really grew up in a way because I still find the word Willy funny. And I'm like, what, 79 now? Jack Alberton just... See, I'm not going to talk about the... It's just ridiculous to call it the newer version when it's 20 years ago. But the latest recording, the latest version with Johnny Depp. Have you ever seen these arguments where people are saying, oh, people shouldn't actors should only play their own, you know, so if it's like someone in a wheelchair, it should be someone in a wheelchair, should be an actor in a wheelchair that plays the part. And I was thinking about that. I understand, you know, where they're coming from, but I was thinking, okay. And then they do the same thing. There's been a similar thing with the Snow White, where the midgets have been going, little people, midgets, dwarfs, I don't know what the correct term is. I personally, I mean, it is actually Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they're saying we should be us because we're dwarfs. But I think, you know, when it comes to the words, okay, midgets, I don't think it's generally, they like that word anymore. But little people, it seems a little just, oh, he's a little person. I don't know, it doesn't seem very a good term either. And then dwarf, I mean, dwarfs are mythical creatures, they're not even real. So dwarfs are mythical creatures. At least little people, you know, it's like, they were like little creatures, weren't they, dwarfs? So I'd rather be called a little creature that would live under a well, or in a well, or under a bridge. Did anybody ever wonder what Snow White ever got up to of an evening? There was no TV. She was waiting for her prince to come and help her. You know, she was waiting for a prince. I don't know, it's kind of what it used to be like back then, is people were waiting for princes to turn up. It didn't happen that often, I don't think. Can you imagine that, though? Waiting for a prince to turn up and you get a knock on the door. Who is it? I've not answered the door unless it's the prince. I've had enough of people knocking on my door. No more frogs, thanks. I want a prince, and keep them dwarfs away. I've got something better than that, my dear. What? The door opens. It's a king. I'm a king. Wow. How excited would she be if she realises it's Henry VIII? So Willie, the bit I watched yesterday, I managed to skip through the first bit, you know, when they're looking for the ticket and all that stuff, and got straight to just as I was walking into the chocolate factory, which I think is the best part. That part is the best part of the movie. It's a little bit like, what's that movie, Tarantino movie? Dawn Till Dusk. Tarantino, Dawn. I think it's Dawn, isn't it? Dawn. Dawn. Dawn Till Dusk. 1996. Now, the first part of the movie is brilliant. Didn't really enjoy the second part, even though the second part was just non-stop, like shooting and stuff. It's the first part was so classy. It's just really good. And they almost could have made it, I mean, it also wouldn't have been a very good movie if they'd have just stopped it, I suppose, at the part that I liked. But when Salma Hayek, and it could have been a really great short movie, when Salma Hayek was dancing, which is, I enjoyed that part of the movie. It's good acting. I think Selma's a great actor, and I just enjoyed her acting in that movie. And it's a little bit like Daniel Day-Lewis. She takes on the role and she uses all parts of her body to really dramatize, and you know, it's really good. I've been a fan of hers for a long time. Well, since that movie, actually, since that moment in the movie. But I really think she's a great actress or actor. I don't know what the correct term is anymore. Actor, actor, actress. Or am I allowed to say actress anymore? I don't know. 19 million budget, 59.3 million box office, which is a profit, but I just think George Clooney. I liked Quentin Tarantino in that movie. I know he's in all his movies, but I liked that. Him and George Clooney together made a good night, nice little partnership in that. And yeah, it's the first bit of the movie I loved, but then when you get to the Salma Hayek bit, the dancing, I don't mean like I'd cut it. I don't stop watching it when she comes onto the stage. I would, but I think it's not fair on her. She worked so hard, and you know. So I do watch her part of the movie, just out of respect for her as an actor. And sometimes I'll even skip through just to her part, just to show that respect because I just think she's an underrated performer. She's got so talented. And I mean, you think of all the different movies that she's been in. I can actually give them to you off the top of my head. Things like Wild Wild West in 1999, Frida 2002, Once Upon a Time in Mexico 2003. Oh no, they're just the most money that's been earned. Okay, blimey. I liked Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Grown Ups, Puss in Boots, The Pirates, Savages, Grown Ups 2, Sausage Party, The Hitman's Bodyguard, that was good. I like that movie. Eternals, again another good movie. She's been in so many good, really good movies. She has. I don't know what order. This is. I mean, this is off the top of my head, of course. I'm not on. Okay, I am. I'm on Wikipedia. What am I doing? This is weird. So where's her movies then? I was hoping to marry her one day, but it didn't quite work out. Problem with marrying someone, you kind of got to meet them first, don't you? And then they've got to notice you. One of the prerequisites. Although, looking at it, she's with her husband Francois Henry Pinault, and that was 2015. He's a lot older than me. What's he got to offer that I haven't? Other than the fact that she loves him. And he's probably a billionaire. I wonder who he is. You say, why do you expect that he's a billionaire? Just because, like, oh, she'd only date a billionaire, is that what you're saying? Okay, let's have a look. Francois Henry Pinault, born 28th of May 1962, not that much younger than me, or older than me, it's only 8 years, is a French businessman, son of billionaire Francois Pinault. Francois Henry, he took the reins of his father's retail conglomerates, Pinault, Pimpetets, Redout, in 2005. So he is a millionaire then. I don't know. Should we have a look? Should we just get a rough idea? I mean, he might not be. Maybe he just turned down the money and said, oh, I don't need anything. What's his net worth? Oh, 17.16 billion. So yeah, I guess he's doing all right, isn't he? It's enough to live on. It's a comfortable amount, I would say. I think. A comfortable amount. She's got kids. For 2007, she gave birth to daughters September. They were married Valentine's Day in 1999. In 2009, they renewed their vows in Venice. Okay, they were married on Valentine's Day 2009 in Paris. On April the 25th, 2009, they renewed their vows in... Why would you renew your vows the same year? Isn't that something you do like later on? Like after 10 years or 20 years, just to say, well, we're kind of stuck with each other, aren't we? Might as well do it again, renew our vows. Let everyone know how happy we are. I can't imagine things like that happening years ago. You know, when my nan and granddad were together. That was never brought up. He never jumped. He never ran in from the garden shed, skipping, saying, "Mum, why don't we get renew our vows? I just had a brilliant idea." And my nan saying, "Oh, husband, that's a great idea." And jumps off from the kitchen sink because she was trying to practice her tap dancing. And no. Oh, look, Hayek was appointed Knight Chevalier of the National Order of the Legion of Honor. The Hayek's, but she's not French, is she? Is she French? She's not French. I thought she was. I might be wrong. I just didn't think she was French. I thought she was Mexican. A Mexican-American actress and film producer. So where was she born? Was she born in... It's not telling me. So she was born in Mexico. So she's Mexican. Cool. That's what I thought she was. She's actually older than me. It's ridiculous. It's very, very rare that I see anyone that's older than me. Older than me? Me? Public image. Yeah. Anyway, why is it? She's done so many movies that they're just only going to list the ones that did really well. That's strange. I don't normally do that. Normally it gives a list of all movies, but here, Hayek's films that have earned the most at the box office as of 2022. So this is filmography and accolades. Okay, let's have a look. There might be another one. Okay, there is another page. List of roles. 1993, Mi Vida Loca. Gatta. Road Racers, Donna. Desperado. 1995. So Desperado, wasn't Desperado the precursor to... Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, okay. I thought that was the precursor to the other movie she did. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Desperado. So she played Carolina. Desperado. Carolina. It was. Her and Antonio Banderas. That was when he was so pretty, he wasn't he? Just, yeah, come on. I want to watch Desperado now. 7 million budget, box office 58 million. So Robert Rodriguez, who's kind of... He's kind of like the... He's done some really good movies. Yeah, he's done a lot of really good movies. So let's have a look. I know he did. I know a few that he's already done off the top of my head. Filmography. Okay, here we go. These are films that he's directed. El Mariachi, 92. Desperado, 95. Four Rooms, From Dusk Till Dawn. So he directed that. The Faculty. Spy Kids 2 and 3. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Sin City. The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I'm going to have to revisit that one in a minute. And you got the ones that I remember. So I never really watched Spy Kids. Machete, 2010. Machete Kills, I watched that one as well. Sin City, watched that. Attila, Battle Angel. I like that, but didn't get the everything that was. Red 11, or was it Red 2? Red 11? No, Red 11. What is Red 11? Huh. A 2019 American science fiction movie. So it had its world premiere at 2019, festival March 15th, 2019. The film was scheduled to be released on the streaming services Tubi 2020, but was delayed for undisclosed reasons. So why didn't it ever go to the cinema? Curious. Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. So I loved Sin City because that was Mickey Rourke. So good. We Can Be Heroes, Hypnotic, and Spy Kids Armageddon. So he definitely stuck with the old Spy Kids movies. I've never watched any of them. I don't think they're really aimed at me. Hypnotic. Did I ever watch that movie? You think I might do, wouldn't you, considering the title? Yeah, I might need to have a little look at that. And again, it's got Ben Affleck, who I was trying to remember his name earlier. Ben Affleck. So I might try and watch Desperado. I might try and watch it today, you know. I don't know why. I'm trying to think what other things. Willy. Wow, here's an interesting thing. The Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, so it's based on a Roald Dahl book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Mel Stewart directed it. Produced by Stan McGreeves and David L. Wolper. Cinematography, Arthur Ibbetson. Edited by David Saxon. Music by Leslie Burkus and Anthony Newley. Production companies. This I found quite interesting. Wolper Pictures and the Quaker Oats Company. The production company. Now, the Quaker Oats Company, known as Quaker, is an American food conglomerate, whatever. It makes oats. It's been around since 1877. I don't understand. Wow. In 2001, PepsiCo bought Quaker Oats for $14 billion. Because there'd been... How did they produce a movie? How does that work? It doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't. Oh, look at this. Land giveaways in cereal boxes. Starting in 1902, the company's oatmeal boxes came with a coupon redeemable for the legal deed to a tiny lot in Milford, Connecticut. The lots, sometimes as small as 10 foot by 10 foot, were carved out of a 15-acre, never-built subdivision called Liberty Park. A small number of children or their parents, often residents living near Milford, redeemed their coupons for the free deeds and started paying the extremely small property taxes on the oatmeal lots. The developer of the prospective subdivision hoped the landowners would hire him to build homes on the lots. although several tracks would need to be combined before building could start. The legal deeds created a large amount of paperwork for town tax collectors who frequently couldn't find the property owners and received almost no tax revenue from them. In the mid-1970s, the town put an end to the oatmeal lots with a general foreclosure, condemning nearly all of the property, which is now part of the Bic Corporation plant. That's interesting. 1955, Quaker Oats also gave away land as part of a promotion, this one tied to the Sergeant Preston of the Yukon television show in the United States. The company offered in its puffed wheat and rough puffed rice cereal boxes genuine deeds to land in the Klondike. Yeah, I don't understand. Research US brand. I just want to see whether that's got anything to do with Willy Wonka. It's not mentioning Willy. It's weird because you'd think, wouldn't you, really, that something like Quaker Oats that makes porridge and stuff like that, you'd think they'd mention Willy. Especially something that's so popular with kids. You think they'd mention Willy, wouldn't you? Because that was a really, really popular movie with the kids. Oh dear. Vinny's still asleep. He's been asleep for nearly 12 hours. 11 and a half hours he's been asleep. And last night, really early, because we went to bed about 10:30. Last night, really early on, when he first got into bed, he kind of cuddled up to me, more to kind of my midsection. So I put part of the duvet over him, so I didn't get to sleep normally how I normally do. But he had one heck of a good night's sleep, and he's still there now, fast asleep. He was snoring earlier, bless him. So Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think it's one of the. If I can stop yawning. I think it's one of the greatest movies ever. I just do. One of my favourite movies of all time. But I don't understand how a production company, the Quaker Oats, was there. I mean, did they have... I'm wondering if Quaker Oats were in the movie. So Quaker Oats. Okay. Willy Wonka. Quaker Oats, Willy Wonka. If I look at images, Willy Wonka. I'm just going to see if it has anything about Quaker Oats. Willy Wonka. Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, don't miss Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a scrumdiddlyumptious movie coming to a theatre near you, and then above it is 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures of breakfast cereal offering candy factory kit, only $1 and two proof of purchase seals from any of these Quaker cereals. Wow. So they had it all organised, didn't they? A way to make some money. They also made some Wonkers stuff as well. According to this, they made the Wonker bar. Or made something that was sort of similar. I'm sure I saw something on there that had breakfast cereal like in the background. Oh dear. I'm just realising, you see he's got a hat on. He almost looks a little bit like the Quaker man from the image. He does. He does. That's interesting. Blimey. 20 facts you might not know about Willy Wonka. Right, I'll end on this bit because, I mean, this is more Trivia Tuesday territory. Right, let's go have a look. Here we go. It was an adaptation of the book's author. Okay, I know that. The director had the idea for his biggest hit. Mel Stewart is a director who, with all due respect, would not be remembered if not for Willy Wonka. That's a bit rude. It was greenlit for an odd reason. The producer in question was David L. Wolper. As luck would explicitly have it, Wolper was working with Quaker Oats. The producer and the company wanted a way to introduce a new candy bar. That became Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and the candy bar in question became known as the Wonka bar. Yes, this film basically exists to sell chocolate. So it was an advert. So that now we know why the Quaker Oats company helped produce it, because so David L. Wolper was working with Quaker Oats. So between the two of them, they produced this movie as an advert. That's genius, isn't it? Darley was brought in to write the screenplay. It was not his first work in this vein. A friend of Ian Fleming, Darley had previously contributed to the screenplays for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and You Only Live Twice, the latter of which is a James Bond movie. Roald Dahl, he wrote You Only Live Twice. It's quite weird when you think that he also wrote Tales of the Unexpected. Some of the freakiest shows ever. Weird stuff. Dahl didn't deliver though. When production was about to start, Dahl had not finished the screenplay. He had outlined the story, but the script wasn't there. Wolper had to look elsewhere. David Salsa, who would go on to write screenplays for The Omen and The Punchline, among others, did extensive rewrites, and sitcom writer Robert Kaufman did some rewrites as well. However, Dahl got sole screenplay credit, even though he left the project due to creative differences. that explains why he wasn't a fan of the movie, because had a few issues. Blimey. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So, it's Monday. It's Bank Holiday Monday. And I cannot remember the last time when at this time in the day it was practically silent. Not just outside, but in the building, in this flat. No Vinny barking or moving around. Nothing going on in the garden. The neighbours aren't in the garden shouting. No dogs. No neighbours coming and going or slamming doors. Wow. It's really, really quiet. I think I've been whispering a little bit through this. I haven't meant to. I just don't want to wake up Vinny up. I don't want to wake up Vinny up. I don't want to wake up Vinny, or I don't want to wake up Vinny, or I don't want to wake Vinny up. One of them. It's nearly time for me to have my breakfast. I've got hiccups. I didn't see that coming. That's the end of the recording, I think. I don't know if I've been talking for long. I feel like I need to go and just make sure Vinny's okay. It's not like the duvet's so heavy that you can't get out from under it. He's not right under it. He's probably loving being asleep. He loves to sleep. He's like his daddy. Right, well, thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. You really do. Lots of love.